Nestled in the southern Appalachian Mountains is the town of Glade Springs in Washington County, Virginia. There sits a beautiful antebellum-style home built in the 1830s by Dr. Snead. Although the story of this property doesn't start with Dr. Snead, you have to go back further in time, right before the birth of our nation. This was a time when settlers and Indians clashed. This is likely why the first settler of the property, Francis Kincannon, fortified his log home to defend against the Indians. This would later be known as Kincannon's Fort. Some 400 Revolutionary War soldiers, under the command of Colonel Campbell, were dispatched from the region to Kings Mountain, South Carolina. Given the conflict with Indians in the region, it is likely that these soldiers would have stopped at Fort Kincannon while en route to South Carolina. Conflict, loss, and tragedy continue to plague the property as we move into the time of Dr. Nickerson Snead. Dr. Snead was very active and prominent in his community. In fact, he was part of Emory and Henry College's first board of directors. He served as the Glade Springs postmaster from 1839 to 1845. This led us to theorize that the small structure on the property that still stands today may have been used for this purpose. We would later discover at the Washington County Historic Society that was in fact the building that was used as his doctor's office at the residence. Though it was larger in size than it is today, that is the portion that still remains. Dr. Nickerson Snead found himself involved in politics, among other things. On July 1, 1849, Dr. Snead was one of 20 delegates selected by then-Governor Wyndham Robertson to represent Washington County at a convention in Christiansburg, Virginia. The purpose of this convention? To promote subscription of stock to the Virginia and Tennessee Railroad. The most bloodiest conflict in American history was the Civil War. Washington County was no exception to the carnage. Even though we couldn't substantiate the claim of the property being used as a morgue, given the proximity to Battle of Saltville, which left over 205 Confederate dead buried on a hill directly across from the college, as well as numerous Union soldiers buried in a mass grave until 1938 when they were exhumed and moved to the National Cemetery in Tennessee. If bodies were placed in the cellar, with its limestone construction and the increased amount of tragedy and death surrounding the property, this could be coming together to act as a conduit and increasing the activity. There have been reports of sightings of ghostly figures and soldiers at both the college and the surrounding community. Dr. Snead died April 1, 1869. His tombstone was inscribed, "Sacred to the memory of my husband, Dr. Nickerson Snead, who departed this life April 1, 1869. Aged 72, an honest man, the noblest of work of God." He was survived by his wife Betsy, who never remarried. Upon her death, Betsy had left in her will that an iron fence to be placed around the grave of her family members and child. This sadly never occurred, and oddly, her tombstone disappeared from the Old Glade Cemetery in the 1960s. The house was owned after the Sneads by the Mason family for nearly 100 years. During this time that they owned the property, they ran a small general store that was nearby. It no longer stands today. Tragedy continued to plague the home. Douglas Mason, 8 years of age, died after being kicked in the head by a horse. Josephine Mason died a year earlier from illness and was 10 years of age. Later on, the property would be used as a fine restaurant. It even spent some time as an antique shop. Today, the house is used for many different events. In the fall months, it's used as a haunted house. The early morning hours of April 28, 2011, an EF3 tornado hit parts of the Glade Springs community, killing 3 people and injuring 50 others. The system that hit Glade Springs was part of the April 25th to April 28, 2011 tornado outbreak that caused hundreds of deaths and widespread damage all across the South. Unfortunately, the Snead House was damaged during the tornado. The roof was ripped from the structure. The old Glade Cemetery Church, across the street from the house, was almost a total loss. With more than 200 years of complex history, tragedy, death, it comes as no surprise that there is increased paranormal activity. The question remains, is it Masons, Sneads, soldiers, or a combination of all the three? Activity at this location has ranged from everything from full-body apparitions of a woman in a blue dress, another woman seen in a white dress that goes up the stairs, phantom footsteps, noises, items being moved, disembodied voices, shadow figures. Pretty much a little bit of everything has been seen at this location. As with any investigation, we'll begin with an artifact survey. We'll record where all items are located by GPS coordinates.
Alright, this is Matt and Steve here, SRS Paranormal. We're going to do the relic survey today on the location that we're getting ready to do, which is the Nickerson Snead. And this is in front of what was the original house. Of course, this property would have probably extended way on out because it was, over 750 acres initially. Hopefully, we'll be able to see if we can recover anything in here, and then of course here, and then in the back. Okay, this is an 1137, 1136. And one of my favorite places, tree roots. Love tree roots. Well, I still got an ancient bottle cap. 1A and 2A. That's 1A and 2A. This was the recoveries from there. Nothing of any significant historical history or anything that would be tied to the mansion in any way. I'm going to see now what Steve's recoveries were. Most of his recoveries were the same, likewise clad. One square nail, so the only thing with any age or history is the square nail. 1219 on the CTX, which a lot of times that's in the pull tab range, but especially here when you're doing artifact recovery and survey, you need to try and dig everything. So I just got this fork, and I'm hoping that this fork ties back to the history of this property, and maybe to some of the activity that's going on here. So it's a great find. Happy to find it. You can see there it was probably 4 or 5 inches down. Let's see if we can pull any other artifacts, anything else that might help us answer some of what's happening.
I've got a decent signal right here. 444 it says. I think it's more on this side, right there. Yeah. So a spigot to a little handle to a water spigot. I see something out of the hole right there, a rim. I see a rim out of the hole. Out of the hole, right in front of the hole, toward the tree. Right there.
Oh man, silver, look silver.
I saw that rim.
Good catch, man.
Awesome.
This area, found them old coins right in there. Steve found a part of a medicine bottle and that valve over there, and I just recovered this handle. I'm not sure what it's to. This looks like it probably dates back to the 1800s, early 1900s at latest, but probably late 1800s. So we're on the right path. That old fork we found. So there's a few relics here.
While during the walkthrough at the Nickerson Snead, we were standing in the old dining area, part of the original log home. when we heard what audibly sounded like boots walking across the second floor landing of the staircase to our immediate right, just outside the room. The heel-to-toe boot sound continued as if it was on the floor directly above the dining room. I took a recorder and went up the stairs to see if I could locate the source of the boots. Now they sounded as though they were in the door to my right. Upon opening the door, I paused and called out to see if anybody was in the room. Though I heard no audible response, I could hear the sound of boots walking across the floor. We also captured the following EVP. Hello? In the recording, you'll note that my footsteps sound totally different from the footsteps that were captured when I was standing still. Hello? The evening of June 18th, 2016, it was time for the team to conduct their investigation. The temperatures were in the mid-60s with a light wind. The current moon cycle was waxing Gibson at 97%. In the course of our walkthrough, we encountered footsteps and a Class A EVP. The team decided to focus on EVPs and direct response for the course of the investigation. We started the evening by doing a complete inspection of the property. Since the property is used as a haunted house, we wanted to ensure that there was no props or devices or anything remaining that could possibly give us false positives. And we concluded that the house was in its natural state. With background readings taken, conditions recorded, team assignments made, we killed the power to the structure and began our investigation.
I know that's not the same chair that was here before, but it's a similar chair. I'm going to move this device out of the chair. Did you hear that? Do you like to hear that? It sounded to me like it came from the mantle or the fireplace. You make that sound again? Alright, well I'm going to end this EVP recording here. We'll go into another room and try. If you're here with us, see if you can make this device Adriana's holding here in her hand, the little green light. Touch it and make the lights light up for us. If you get near it, the lights will light up for us. That lets us know you're here. Ooh, okay, very good.
Okay, I'm moving. Something touched the back of my neck.
Did you just touch Adriana? I saw this turn yellow too. Did you see that? At the same time. Would you do it again? Make those lights light up again for us, please.
Alright, Matt, everybody actually this time. Josh, Matt, Heather, Steve, Adriana, and Rhonda's still with us. We're going to start a spirit box session. This is Matt, and I'm trying to reach anybody that might be here with us.
Trying to reach the Sneads, Masons. That was something. How many of you were here? 3? 3?
Would you rather speak to a female? Say female?
That's what I heard.
I thought I heard female too.
Yes. Did you hear that?
I heard that.
Yes again.
What do you guys want to give a shot?
What color is the jacket Adrienne is wearing? What color is that jacket? Did you hear that?
I heard that.
What did it say?
Brown.
Oh, wow.
But it's
But in the light, color does it look?
Yeah.
Looks brown.
Good.
Couldn't tell what it said.
Did that just say watch me?
I couldn't make it out. Can we help you in any way?
Are you stuck here and wish to
Yeah.
leave?
I heard something upstairs.
If that's you on the stairs, can you make that little light light up? Make that machine make some noise for us? All you have to do is get close to it.
Sometimes I couldn't make it out.
Uh-huh.
Is there any spirit guides here tonight? We're trying to reach the Sneads. We're trying to see if they still live here.
Whoa.
Female voice.
I heard that.
What did you say? Hold on. What about the rocking chair downstairs? Is that rocking chair important to somebody?
Did it upset you when they took the rocking chair away?
Ooh, that was something. Did you hear
I
that?
say Betsy.
that's what I thought.
Yep. Betsy. Was Betsy upset about the chair? We are trying to reach Betsy. If there's any spirit guides that could help us get in touch with Betsy, or whoever's still in this house. Can you help us do that? Rhonda knows you guys are here. She's okay with it.
Nobody wants anybody to leave. We just want to talk to you.
Would you like to speak to Rhonda instead of us?
Rhonda's here with us.
She told us it's okay if you talk to us. It's okay if we're here.
Josephine, are you around anywhere? Douglas, are you here?
Where's that smell?
Is that the smell you're talking about that you sometimes get in here, Rhonda?
Yes. Do you smell it?
Very strong.
Yeah.
And we smelled it in different parts of the house throughout
Yes.
the evening.
And I've had plumbers check it, and there's
No source to it.
no.
I'm gonna try something. I'm gonna take one of these little blocks. I'm gonna sit here on the floor. I'll put K2 with it. We're gonna see if we get anything happen. Yeah, my name's Matt. If there's anybody here, there's a little kid here. We know sometimes you like to play with blocks and toys. I'll put a block right there on the floor. Josephine or Douglas, if you're here, would you come over here and touch the block for me? Or if there's any other little children here, you can come out and play it, it's okay. I used to like to play with blocks when I was little. I heard that. Did y'all hear that?
I heard that.
It's gone 2 or 3 times in here. It's done that.
That was
Is
the
it down the
first time
hall
I
or is
heard
it
that.
in?
The above.
It sounds like, yeah, like from the attic
Up
area.
in the attic.
Wow. We know you're here. Why are you being shy?
Are you hiding in the closet like you were before? We know you like to hide in there.
Can you come out and get this block? Don't be afraid of the green light right there, the little green dot. It can't hurt you.
It's just another toy you can play with.
But I'd really like you to do something. I know you're here. What's that? Did you hear that?
I heard that.
Where'd it come from?
Sounded like this room over here. Maybe. Maybe not.
We're gonna leave the camera in when these blocks and something. See if we get
Before we leave, I'm going to put some of these blocks close to the edge of this desk. If you can, try to knock some of them off. Just knock one in the floor.
We've got an S, a boat, and a K, and an E. See if you can move one of those for us.
We're going to walk away now. Knock one of those off for us if you can.
So it's interesting though that we keep moving rooms, and the noises keep moving,
Right, and that smell's gone now.
and the smells moved.
I don't
We
smell
went
that
from
smell
here,
anymore.
and the noises started over here, because we heard it over here. Nice shadow of that.
Do you ever hear like shuffling sounds in there?
Okay, in there, the only shuffling type sound, we were standing where those chairs are, my sister, a friend, and myself. Was, I think, 2013. We were doing historical haunted tours, and there was no electricity on in the house. We had it all lit by candles. So at the end of the night, we were blowing out all the candles, and we were standing there talking, and we heard what sounded like a big, heavy, like lots of material, like a big,
Bustle.
like a bustle,
'Cause
lots of
When
material
we were
just whoosh
standing
by
there, I
us.
heard the kind of sound.
No,
Right.
never
I
heard
don't
that.
know.
It was like a big, like, you know, the reenactors' dresses, how big and
Like a
heavy they
big-
are.
Yeah.
And when they walk, you can hear.
See, unfortunately, there's a lot of movement, traffic on this side, so I have to discount any shadow play in there because there's so many shadows from cars and stuff and lights. So anything on that side is kind of hard to ruin any shadows. But what was that?
That was my light.
No, no.
Yeah, I heard
It
it.
might be me walking around.
Adriana's walking up
Okay.
here.
No, I heard it again. It's not what it was.
No, what was that? Like a muffled sound. Did you hear that?
I heard that up there. Sound like a little squeak. You smell it again too? I smell it too. I was getting ready to say that.
If that's you, don't be afraid. Show us that you're here. Make a sound.
Go ahead.
Yell as loud as you can.
It's got a really weird feeling.
Like a chill.
Standing there, I kept getting
Oh.
chills.
Like a chill
Like
down
a
your back.
crazy chill.
I did too.
Like it down my neck and the side of my neck, like something was crinkling in my ear.
Really?
You get chill bumps right standing right there.
Just like,
It gets real cold.
It's not cold. It's a cold spot.
I don't know if it's cold or what, but it just, I didn't get it until just a second ago.
Right here, it's colder.
I don't feel a cold spot. I walk through there. I don't feel a temperature change. I mean, you might.
I don't feel a temperature change. It just felt like it felt like I heard like a crinkle, you
That's
know?
it. If that's you, let us know. We just want to know why you're here. Something just touched the back of my leg. Something just touched the back of my leg. Look at the hairs.
Oh my God.
It felt like this. It felt like something went.
If I make some noise, will you make some noise back to me? How about I knock on this table a little bit?
Did you like it better when all the people used to come here and eat? I know one of you used to meet the customers at the front, but you wouldn't talk to them. Crap, that scared the crap out of me.
Sorry. This chair here beside me is pulled out. Would you like to come have a seat?
Just took 10 years out of my life.
You're welcome to have a seat beside me. Just knock on this table and let me know you're here.
My stomach again.
Somebody's going to Taco Bell.
Oh yeah. We know you're here. We know you were here earlier. I guess maybe you get tired of people coming and trying to talk to you?
If you want us to leave, make that light and Adriana's hand light up. We'll leave you alone. Play with toy guns myself. You ever play with this gun or a gun like it? Can you tell me how old you are? Josephine, is it you that likes to play with dolls like you're on the bed? Are you still hiding in the closet, Josephine? Do people sometimes hide in the closet with you? I'm not going to come into your closet, but if you'd like to talk to me, you can come out here. You can talk into this little device I have in my hand and I can hear you later. Will you laugh for me? Matt and I got scared a minute ago. Did you think that was funny?
This is a historical photo of the property that you may or may not have. I don't know if you've seen it.
I don't have that.
Got that through Washington County Historical Society. It's is early 1900s, late 1800 range is what the house would have been closest to in that time frame. And you can see here your outbuilding, where it used to be bigger, is what, through some of the stuff that we found, proves that that was where his office was, his doctor's office. So that's kind of just a neat picture for you. Just thought you might like
I
to have
would say
it.
this is late 1800. I would say Dr. and Betsy still had this because I have pictures of the Masons and they have like a huge pine tree. They've got, I mean, and it's early 1900s. So this is not when the Masons had it. I would say this is when Betsy and
That's
Dr.
what this
Snead
historical
had it.
society thought too.
Yeah.
They couldn't get an exact date for the house, but it's what it was in its glory days. So I just thought you'd appreciate that photo. What we thought was a face here in this upper corner.
Right.
Turns out Steve got a good catch when we came back, and I wrote on the back of that one just what it is. It's the bunk of the face. When we came back, there's an area where I guess a curtain rod may have been installed in there somewhere.
a little bit of drywall dust
Drywall.
has fallen down,
Mhm.
and when the light hit it, it just gave that illusion.
Then when we came back to that, when we were setting everything up, that same design was on the wall. So yeah.
And we were able to physically feel it and go, okay, it's just an odd
Right.
thing that occurred there. Now, this is the photo I took the morning we came and did the relic survey.
Mhm.
If you look real closely, right there in that window, you'll see what appears to be a head.
Okay, we actually pulled up one night. One of the guys was up here waiting, and it was dark, and he said he kept seeing somebody in that window. But when he walked through the window, there was nobody there. There was nothing there. So he went back to the vehicle, and he saw it again. He was going to take a picture, so he walked back up, and it was gone again. He said he just stuck the vehicle and waited on us. So when we got here, I went into the room, and we looked again to make sure there was nothing in front of that window that would have looked like somebody. There was the same window, so that's odd.
And if you look, it looks like almost like a kid's eyes, because
Uh-huh.
if you look at a window pane being in the
Uh-huh.
corner, it's in the lower corner. So when I got a blown up closer version of it too, this gives you an even better zoomed in on it. If you look right there. Now, this is the morning that you guys were here doing some work, but there was 3 of you here, and you guys were out front in the parking lot working on something with wood. So you guys were behind me when I took the photo, because I remember seeing y'all in the parking lot. Steve was standing at the truck getting his gear out.
Right.
So nobody was in the building. So I thought it may have just been an anomaly, but it's too much of a person's, it looks like a child to me.
Silhouette.
Right.
Silhouette
It's a
from the
silhouette.
bust, from the shoulders to the head up. So I thought, okay, one of the things we try to do whenever we do the relic survey, and also whenever we're here doing the actual investigation, anytime we're here, we take as many exterior pictures as we can. We take a bunch of interior pictures as well. We've done this at several locations. I've never had anything show up that I couldn't explain. Usually we can explain it. It's a base, it's something that we can find to recreate it. I can't do that with this one. We took over 120 pictures of the exterior of this house at different times. Twice, because we came 2 different mornings to do the relic survey, or the artifact survey, and also during the investigation that night took pictures with full spectrum and took regular pictures. That's the only picture that has an anomaly in it. So wanted to go back and recreate the anomaly. Had one of our investigators, Josh, you met him the night that he was here. This is right as we started the investigation. Went ahead and put him about where we thought a person would have to be. He can't get close enough to the window, and you know why, because there's stuff in front of that window.
Right.
So Josh appears in that window, and if you look closely, it's similar, but the difference is he's much higher in the window, and he's further back. This is almost up against the
Looking
window.
out the window, that's what it looks to me like.
Yeah, but there's a
Like
sewing machine there.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's what when we came in, we were like, okay,
And that's the photo that proves that.
right. So,
So-
we were looking to see who was in the window, how they could get that close to the window. And when we went in, it's like, well, the sewing machine's there. There's nothing
That's
else
great,
there.
because she hadn't told us that story, and
Yes.
we found evidence to
Well,
substantiate
this
that. That's-
happened after you guys investigated.
Oh, really? No,
Really,
okay,
since
awesome.
then?
Yeah.
Okay, wow.
So that's something new,
So
kind of.
we feel, in our opinion, that that is definitely something we cannot explain. I can't guarantee what it is, but in my personal opinion, that is definitely something that is paranormal. It is something going on there other than, we cannot find any earthly explanation. Basically what this is the footsteps. You caught the footsteps I was chasing.
Okay, so she's a psychic medium in Bristol. And she wears cowboy boots all the time. And she does heel toe, heel toe, heel toe, heel toe. And she gets followed with cowboy boots.
Is that what it sounds like to you, heel toe on
It sounds
that?
like that. And she said she said she heard an echo, and she thought, that's bizarre because this room shouldn't be echoing.
That's
She stopped,
interesting.
and it kept walking.
And I could audibly hear those.
Yeah.
And that's the thing about, and you know this, you know quite a bit about paranormal too, so you'll appreciate what I'm going to say. That's the thing with this. Sometimes you hear things,
But you don't pick it up on.
you don't pick it up on recordings, or the opposite.
You
You
don't
don't think anything's happened, and then you go back and you're like, holy cow, how did I miss? Was I even in the room?
Right.
You know? And this was cool because we heard it. I
And
went
also
upstairs
heard
and I heard it, and the recording captured
Yeah.
it. But this is the last set of footsteps, and that's behind a closed door. That was the footsteps I heard. This is what follows.
Play it again, and I'll tell you what I think. kind of like, oh, come on, come on.
I heard the same thing.
It's
I
like
told you that, did I not?
Yeah.
It's a
okay.
weird kind
Yeah,
of.
it's ethereal-ish. It's.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
I did not hear that
Oh
audibly.
God, that's scary.
I heard that before the come on. It's definitely come on, but there's
Did you
something
hear
before
that?
it.
Oh,
Yes, I did.
Kind of thing before.
I want you to remember that female voice.
All right, let me hear that one more time.
But I want you to remember that female voice because you're going to hear it, I think, again later.
That's bizarre.
I want to hear it
That
once
is just
through the
so
wave
crazy.
pad. Let me hear
gives
it,
me
please.
cold chills.
Hang on just a second. And this is that spirit box.
This is when
we're
you
all
were
at
with
the top
us.
of the stairs.
Oh, yeah. Okay. That sounded eerily familiar to Come On, Come On.
Exactly. It's the same voice.
As Betsy.
I believe so.
Huh.
I believe we
And we
actually.
were right there at her room.
I believe we had direct contact with Betsy. I truly, in my heart of hearts, believe that. You were there, you witnessed it. That's what's really cool. You were actually there
Yeah,
when it
when it
happened.
happened.
And that's the audio from the handheld, really higher end recorder.
You were here both times that her voice was heard because you were here with the come on. That's something I picked up on.
Yes.
I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah, I think she's more comfortable with you here.
She's linked to you somehow with that, and that's cool. That's a good thing.
I've always wondered how we ended up with both houses accidentally, but both houses are connected.
Which is an awful big coincidence.
Very cool. But what I like about that piece of evidence is, A, you were there, so you witnessed it firsthand.
Right.
A lot of those smaller ones we didn't hear because the speaker isn't the greatest and you're trying to listen, you're trying to focus. But we've gone through and listened, had several people listen before I labeled any of it, and everybody came up with the same things for each of those statements. So that to me makes it valid. That's a portion, a 2-minute portion of the 40-some minute spirit box. The interesting thing, it's the same voices. It's the same voices all the way through that whole time. People love the spirit box, think it's it. Other people are iffy. I think we fall more in the iffy category because you don't know. You got the whole radio transmission thing going on.
Radio station voice.
Right.
These sound
They sound
farther
different.
away, so it does sound different.
Absolutely, they have that really kind of weird
Yeah.
vibration to it, tonality to them. And the other thing too, we were also using the Faraday cage, the bag, which blocks. Plus, I had the antenna all the way down on it intentionally to limit as much contamination as we could
So
possibly.
the Faraday cage keeps it from picking up signals outside. So
Right.
basically, it's like not having an antenna on the radio.
Right.
It's just scanning frequencies, basically.
And you were here, and we were there forever and heard just.
Yeah, nothing
Right.
but that.
And
Yeah.
on the tape, it's the same thing. It's just.
I was very skeptical of that before we started using it. Once we've used it a few times, because I thought, well, you can string together random voices from a radio broadcast and think that it's something. But when we started using it, the spirit voices are different to me than the radio voices.
How do you counter direct response?
Yeah,
What color
that-
is this jacket?
exactly.
Brown.
Right.
And it did that night with that
Twice.
red light.
It said
looks
twice.
It
brown.
looked like a dark jacket.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Though we can't be certain who it is that still roams the halls of the Nickerson Snead, one fact remains. When you spend time here, you're definitely not alone.